Welcome. Today, we're starting this show for the new year off with how to have fun. That's right. It's very important to be able to have fun in life. It's not something to have later. It's not something that you eventually will earn. Now is the time to fun. So I'm going to share with you what I really like to do for fun. One of the many things that maybe you don't know about me, and that is watching movies. So I'm going to be sharing the best and the worst movies that I saw in the theater, because I saw 15 movies in the theater. That's how much I enjoy going to the movies. So with that, let's get started. Are you ready to live a life with enough time, money, and energy? Have relationships and connections that delight you? Are you ready for the extraordinary life you know you've been missing? If so, then this is the place for you. I'm a best-selling author, coach, consultant, and speaker who's worked in technology for over 2 decades. I'm a leader at transforming people and organizations from operating in fear, obligation, and guilt to running off joy, ease, and love. It's time for Engineering Emotions and Energy with me, Justin Wink, Ph.D. This is the first podcast of Engineering Emotions and Energy for 2026. Yet whenever you're watching this, listening to this, is the right time for this message, because it's a great time to bring more fun into your life. Now, this is the time of year that most people are like, I had too much fun. I did too much for New Year's Eve and definitely overdid it for the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you might celebrate, Festivus. For the rest of us, but it's like you overspent, you overate, you overindulged in substances perhaps, and it's like, okay, fun time's over. It's time to buckle down, work hard, and be a good person. Like most of those things that you did made you a bad person. They didn't. What if it's time to rediscover what truly lights you up, what truly helps you enjoy your life, what really delights you, fun, without any consequences? Because maybe that was the thing, was you had too much fun that resulted in too many consequences. So I'm going to share a little bit into one of the fun things I really enjoy. And I think this is also going to kind of show how you can maybe make some of the things you do and more of your life more fun. Because like I said at the top of the show, movies is something I really love and enjoy, which is why if you're watching this, which definitely suggest you do on YouTube, Justin Wink PhD channel. I got a special background of being at the theaters, kind of like Siskel and Ebert back in the day would review movies at the theater. So I got this virtual theater environment that I'm in coming to you. And I saw 15 movies. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's a pretty good amount of time, going to a theater over a calendar year. And I believe my best movie of the year is really going to surprise you. So stick around for that, because we'll end with that. And so not only do I like movies, but I also like hearing discussion about movies of just ways to enjoy them, look at them. And it's just something I really enjoy. And so my guilty pleasure really is podcasts where people review, criticize, make fun of movies. So some of my favorite podcasts are like The Flophouse, How Did This Get Made? I've even in the past gone to see live showings of those podcasts. I would say my favorite podcast about movies is Blank Check, with hosted by these 2 gentlemen, Griffin and David. They're based in New York, but they'll go through a director's entire filmography. And so if you're a fan of that show, or know it, then you'll probably understand a little bit more of why the number one movie in the theaters for me is what I picked. So what is it about movies that I really enjoy? I mean, one is it brings me back to being a kid. And the second is it really is about experience and about having fun and, imagination and getting to see creativity and getting to be part of a whole other world. It really can ignite the imagination. So again, as I mentioned, I've seen 15 movies. and the theater. So the rule is I had to have seen it. So there's probably better movies, there's probably worse movies. But again, I didn't see all movies in the theater that were available. I don't know how many there are. There's a lot. I saw 15. So the rule is I had to have seen it, and then I had to have seen it in the theater the calendar year of 2025. So these are 2025, my worst and my best. Not going to go through all 15, but I think you're going to be surprised at what I thought was the worst, and you're definitely going to be surprised about what I thought was the best. And what's really incredible is that both of these movies actually share a common heritage, a common thread that they borrow from, one way more heavily than the other. And when I go over it and tell you about it, you're going to recognize how one does it so much better than the other. So what is, according to me, the worst movie of 2025? That movie, Wicked for Good. Or as I'd like to call it, maybe Wicked not so good. So this is the second part of Wicked. I actually saw the first one last year, and musicals are not exactly my thing. Sometimes I'll go. I had a good friend that loves Wizard of Oz. She even wrote a book. She's a friend of the show, Tanya, and so I went and saw that kind of in celebration of her book that's pays a nod to the Wizard of Oz. And then saw the first one the previous year, 2024. And so let's see how it ends. So what is it about? So it's after the first film. Wicked for Good continues the story of Elphaba, now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda, the celebrated Good Witch, as their divergent paths challenge their friendship, test their beliefs, and reshape Oz. Elphaba fights for liberation of the silenced animals, while Glinda confronts the responsibilities of fame and power, driving them towards the final reckoning that will change Oz forever. So Elphaba is played by Cynthia Erivo. Glinda is played by Ariana Grande, who are friends in the movie, and then also apparently really good friends in real life. If you want some entertaining clips, look at them being interviewed for Wicked for Good. Very interesting. Jeff Goldblum is the wizard, and then Michelle Yeoh plays this Madame Morble. I didn't even know that was her name after watching the movie. But her character is, in addition to Elphaba, as far as I can tell, the only other person in the movie that can actually do magic. Even though I thought in the first one, the whole reason they all go to school is to learn magic, but apparently only two people in Oz can actually do real magic. Nobody else really can. The wizard, as you know from The Wizard of Oz, spoiler alerts, only been almost 100 years. The Wizard of Oz can't do magic. He just does mechanical stuff. And I will say, this movie is spectacle, so I love the sets, and all the acting is great. Just the some of the stuff is ponderous of why stuff is happening, because it gets really weird, and for two reasons. One is, and again, this is sometimes what I find fun about movies, is learning about how they came about and what's really going on. Is so MGM is who created The Wizard of Oz, but the Wicked movies come from, I believe, Universal Pictures. And so even though it's all referencing The Wizard of Oz, MGM has the copyrights and trademarks to everything to do with The Wizard of Oz, from what the Munchkins look like to what Dorothy looks like, her dress, what the Yellow Brick Road looks like, what the Emerald City looks like, what the monkeys look like. So everything has to remind you of The Wizard of Oz without actually looking like The Wizard of Oz. So just that's bananas and incredible. Yet a big part of the purpose of Wicked is to kind of tell you that what you know about The Wizard of Oz is all a lie, that the Wicked Witch is not actually wicked. She's just misunderstood. And this is a thing I find with a lot of movies now that like to, basically tug on your member berries and nostalgia and go, we're going to get you into the theater or get you to watch this because it reminds you of something you enjoyed later or, when you were younger. And then they kind of just go on to shit on it. And it really does kind of like shit on the original Wizard of Oz in a lot of ways and go all the things you thought happened didn't happen that way. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. It's like, if you want to, I think if it's like an art house film, go ahead. You know what? But if this is really mass marketing, and the purpose is, for as many people as possible, and they just kind of want to, enjoy what they enjoyed in a new form. Now, again, I didn't see the musical, the play adaptation, or the original play of Wicked, so I don't know what was changed, what wasn't. So all I know is the movie. And for me, yeah, it's like you're trying to show this alternate story, but also in this movie, they bring in, you see Dorothy, and you see the story of the Wizard of Oz beginning, but it's sort of like from the distance, because again, you're not really allowed to actually see Dorothy that close or what she's doing, but she kind of like pops up, and there's a lot of like, oh, well, this is actually how the Scarecrow came about. Well, this is actually how the Tin Man came about. Um, and just trying to give you like all these backstories that it's like, did I need that, or does that make any sense to the Wizard of Oz? But to me, one of the things is that it's kind of like I'm forced to watch one movie, Wicked for Good, and it's reminding me side by side of another movie that I haven't seen probably since I was in high school. But I remember much more fondly, and I think most people agree is still considered a really well done, great movie. And it's just like, why do you gotta remind me of something better? It's kind of like going to a fast food restaurant. And if you were to be given like, have to see advertisements for a fine steakhouse, or whatever, a fine seafood, restaurant and something like that. And it's like, why are you reminding me that there's better food out there when all that's available here is garbage? It's just very, very interesting. And so the movie didn't work for me, although, but I still enjoyed the spectacle of it, because did see it at a very big screen, and it was fun to go see it with a friend. And this for me was the worst movie I saw of the year, but I'm still glad I saw it. And I think that's something that we can all kind of appreciate in life, is not everything that we're going to experience in life is going to be something that we're going to enjoy. Yet, what can we learn from it? What can we, be grateful for that we experienced? And then what does it tell us about, well, what do I enjoy? What do I want to be experiencing in my life? And so I think this is going to bring us to what turned out to be my favorite movie of 2025 that I saw in the theater. And I think this is going to surprise you, because it was actually a movie that was released in 1990 by director David Lynch, called Wild at Heart. Now, he passed away this past year, and I believe I saw this movie I know I saw this movie in February, and it was before he had passed. And now you can find this movie, Wild at Heart, streaming various places, and I think it's probably coming to DVD. I don't know exactly, but at this time, it was pretty much not available anywhere. And a local theater in San Francisco was playing it, and got an opportunity to see this on a big screen with a big crowd at night. And this movie is bananas. It stars Nicolas Cage playing basically a bit of a Fallon. He's a rebel guy named Sailor. And Laura Dern plays his romance in that. Another really awesome person that shows up is Willem Dafoe, who he looks crazy. And the synopsis of this is that, fueled by love, violence, and fate, two outlaw lovers flee across America's surreal underbelly, pursued by hitmen, demons, and their own dark desires in a ferocious road movie about passion and freedom. So this movie, there's a lot going on in it, but it's got a coherent narrative, and each scene is just like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like, what is going on here? I am excited. I am curious. It's over the top in ways, and it's like I'm enjoying what's happening, and I want to know what's happening next. And I mean, Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, amazing actors, and they're just they're riveting. And what's also incredible about this movie is that it also has lots of references to The Wizard of Oz. And there's even a quote where David Lynch said, this is basically, they're following the yellow brick road through hell, is what he said that this movie is about. And it even ends with an appearance from the Good Witch in a bubble And because Nicolas Cage's character is just like, he's been so beat up and things haven't been going his way. He's basically been fighting, well, what is possible in life. And the good witch comes, and she's like, he's just like, oh, I don't know what, I'm so scared. And he goes, but I'm wild at heart. And then the good witch says to him, if you are truly wild at heart, you'll fight for your dreams. Don't turn away from love. And there's then a little bit more, but that's basically the end of the movie. And I think that's just a beautiful message that, if your heart is what's going to lead you, and you want to follow love, what your heart desires, passions for, what your heart enjoys and is looking for. And another thing that this movie plays with a lot is what is freedom? Because the main character, played by Nicolas Cage, says like freedom is so incredibly important to him. Yet we kind of see what happens if you really, you aren't really aware and conscious and wise with your pursuit of freedom, because he starts the movie getting out of prison, and then basically is doing things that are likely going to send him back to prison. So in his pursuit of freedom, he ends up often losing freedom. And I think that's a very important thing for us to understand, is that freedom doesn't just mean, oh my gosh, I can have whatever I want the way that I want. Because of course, there's consequences. And then of course, there's the other side of thing, is that to give any meaning to that desire, it sort of like requires the space for it to take place in. And that space is going to come from a structure, some guidelines, some things like that. Because like, if there's nothing to like push against or to be constrained, then how do you know something's going to be different in relation to where it was or what it is? And so to me, this is a key aspect of life in general, is to recognize that it's freedom of making a different choice. It doesn't mean you get everything the way you want it immediately, yet anything is possible, just it might not in this, dense world that we live in. You might not be able to have everything all at once. Because again, it's like you can't simultaneously be, someone like The Rock or Arnold Schwarzenegger and be someone like Sydney Sweeney or Laura Dern. Like, they're very physically different. You can't be both of those types at the same time. And that's kind of what it makes it enjoyable to be one or the other at any given time. This doesn't have to do with your physicality, but it's like, if you are a teacher of an amazing energy practice, like I am right now, it's like, that's going to be different than also being, an amazing engineer at a tech company, which I was. So it's like, it allows different meaning and satisfaction, that it's like, oh, I pursued one thing and then now I'm pursuing another thing. And this is something that you can do in your life this year. And so that's why I just really thought Wild at Heart is the best movie I saw in the theaters in 2025. And I'm really excited to see more movies in this year. There's always good things coming out, and even if it's not what maybe I would want it to be, I always find things that I appreciate and enjoy about any movie I go to. And part of it is what is the purpose? What is the thing to enjoy? And not expecting all movies. And again, movies here, it's a metaphor for pursuits, for experiences in life. They're not all meant to be the same. Like, for example, I'll give an honorable mention to, I saw pretty close to when it came out, Avatar, Fire and Ash, which is the third Avatar movie. I've now seen every single Avatar movie, but I've only seen each movie only once, and I always saw it in 3D on a big screen. And I enjoyed it. But I would say, if you haven't enjoyed the previous movies, you probably won't enjoy this latest one. There's not much story. The characters are a little bananas, but it really, to me, it's just like, oh, it's an experience. of this technology, of this spectacle, of visualness, and then emotionalness, and just like taking each scene as it is and just going like, wow, this is cool, and letting go of any need for a narrative or a story or anything that's really well thought out. Like, let that go, enjoy the movie. And then there's other movies where it's like, oh my gosh, just the visuals were awful, whatever, but oh my God, the story, just the story, and then the what it made me, how I felt, and what it made me consider as I was taken through that journey, brilliant. So different experiences are different, and letting them be what they are. And again, letting there be something good, letting there be the gift, and then being open to, okay, well, now I know a little bit about myself, what I enjoy, and maybe what I would want more of in the future, what I want less of in the future. And just being grateful that you got to have the experience. So I would really love to know, do you like movies? And if so, what was your favorite and least favorite of last year? And what is it that you really enjoy? What's something that is just fun for you, that there doesn't have to be any benefit to anybody other than just it delights you? I'd love to hear that. So let me know in the comments, send me an email, shoot me a message. Love that. And would love to hear what kind of fun you're going to get up to, because really it's the heart, and it's following that, and it's following love. That's really a key to living a life that matters, that's fulfilling, that's beyond success. And that's what I want for you. And may this year be the best yet. So with that, thank you and good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wink, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives.